So you've decided that you want to grow your business by going to networking events and by getting referrals. And you're wondering, how do I best network those networking events? Because while I understand that we know we want to do it, networking is really not something innate. It's not something we're born with. It's something that we have to learn to do. And I get people all the time, oh my gosh, Tiffanie, you're such a natural networker. No, A, I'm an introvert, so it takes a lot of work. And B, it's really about how do I create the intention. And so what we're going to do in today's video is go through like, how do I make the most? How do I network at a networking event? And so we're going to take a look at first, which networking event will I be attending? And then how do I actually network at those events? What should I say to create the results that I'm looking for? And then last but not least is how to follow up after a networking event. Because to me, you can attend all of these networking events. However, if you're not actually doing the follow-up, you might not have wanted to attend. So we're going to talk about how to start at a networking event. Now, if you're watching it live, brilliant. You're just going to hang out with us. For those of you that are watching the replay on YouTube, do know you can go down to the description if you want to skip to one of the conversations mentioned here. So the very first thing that we want to look at is deciding which networking event do I want to attend. So in the 4.5 networking mistakes, this is the first book that I wrote. It talks about all of the things the networking experts tell you to do that maybe not. And we take a look at what do you do before, during, and after the event, and how do you deal with networking nervousness. So our networking nugget number one, so before the event, is you want to pick the right networking event. And there's a lot of different considerations when deciding, okay, is this the right event for me? First, is your target market there? Or are your potential referral sources there? And I'm okay as long as one of those is yes. It doesn't have to be both. You also want to take into consideration how long is it going to take me to get there, which could be drive time, or how long is it going to take me to walk to my computer if you're doing it in the virtual world. But I think the time it takes to get there, as well as the time that it takes, live. That's the joy. So you want to take into consideration the time that it takes to get there. You want to take into consideration the time it's going to take while you're going to be there. Is it a 30-minute event, an hour event, a 2-hour event? Do you have the time in order to do that? And not only will you want to schedule the time for the event, maybe the drive time, but there's another thing you want to schedule time for, and I'll tell you about that in a couple of minutes. So also you want to consider what's the cost. You can probably go broke attending networking events. You could go to 10 or 12 a week, spending anywhere from $5 to $50 or $100 a pop. So you want to make sure it's within your budget. So I will share this about those free networking events. While they're sometimes really powerful, oftentimes I find you get what you pay for, and there's better networkers at the ones that you're paying a few dollars to be at. Again, that's not always 100% true. There's some great free events out there. You just want to make sure that you're picking the right event. Are the right people going to be there? Does the time work? Does the day work? Does the investment work? Just consider, is this the right event for me? Because it's really easy, again, to spend all your time networking. And we actually have to do some of our business, especially when we're just getting started and figuring out how to network at a networking event. So how do we actually do the networking at the business event? So I went back to my 4.5 networking mistakes again, pulled up another Tiffany, as I like to call them. Those are your epiphanies from Tiffany. And this is networking nugget number 3, set a goal. I think too often people put a networking event on their calendar, and whether it's virtual or in person, they're like, I'm here, let's go. I think you want to create some intention prior to going to the event. And that could be by creating a goal. Now, sometimes before an event, you can get your hands on the registration list. And so you could even set a goal around who are the people that you want to connect with. Maybe if you weren't able to get your hands on that registration list, you can check out that list when you get to the event, or even who are the participants in the Zoom room with you. So you do have that opportunity. When I do the in-person, and we've got another video you can check out here on YouTube for the online networking, how to really make the most of that event. So I want to focus most of the rest of our time on the in-person. So when I'm thinking about, okay, how do I network? I'm setting a goal. I may be thinking how many prospects do I want to meet? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? Now here's the thing. Networking is not net selling. To me, when I go networking, the opportunity is to book a meeting from the meeting. I want to create a relationship. I want to meet somebody for the very first time. or reconnect with them and work on developing the relationship. So never set a goal of how many people that you want to sell to, but you can set a goal of how many people you want to connect that you can potentially sell. Because people aren't going to networking events. You're not going networking events to buy. So why would we be there to sell? Okay, so we can set a goal for the number of prospects. I love going to networking events. Can I create some referrals for the other people in my network? One of the questions I love to say is, hey, so what you got going on lately? What's a struggle that you have? And when they share with me their struggle, it gives me the opportunity to create that referral for the other people in my network. Now, maybe if that doesn't work, I could perhaps set a goal around the number of referral sources that I'm looking to meet. So I'm always on the lookout for the people that have that non-competing industry with the same target market. To me, those are some of the best people because you can create this synergy. Their clients could be your ideal clients and vice versa. And so it gives us the opportunity to really create and make those connections. And you may set a goal around who do you want to reconnect with? Who do you want to talk to maybe that you haven't seen in a while? And so that gives you kind of a little overview there of creating that intention, setting a goal before you even get to the event. Now, once we're at the event, common question is what to say at a business networking event. And I'm going to answer this for the in-person. Again, I mentioned that I've got online. Here on that, well, we're watching this live, but on YouTube, I do also have a bunch of videos. So what to say at an online networking event. Though I'm going to go through kind of the Cliff Notes version of what to say at a networking event because each of these topics actually has a full-blown, full-length video that goes along with it, so you can check those out. So to me, when I'm networking a networking event, there's 3 different types or ways that I'm talking. The first, if I'm doing the mix and mingle. So we're walking around with our food or our drink, and we're meeting people randomly. During this situation, I recommend no elevator pitch because that's selling. What you want to do instead is utilize your funneling conversation. Your funneling conversation gives you the opportunity in 30 seconds or less to determine if the person that you're talking to is a good referral source, a good prospect, or neither. So I recommend that you have that in your toolkit. So what is your funneling conversation? And again, I'll put the links to the videos in the description on YouTube so you can check those out. The next thing that you could be doing in a networking event is if you get to stand up and give a 30, 45, 60-second commercial about your business. Now, most people do this and they give us a litany like, here's all the features of my business. And I do this. And it's like, are you done yet? What you want to do instead is share success stories. How have you been able to help clients? What are the benefits that you offer to people? When you're able to do that, it makes a huge difference and people are interested. Your goal in your networking is to pique that interest. You want them to want to book a meeting from a meeting. Stop trying to sell them right then or there. Work on developing the relationship. Now, the third thing that we can be doing when we're at a networking event could be speed networking. And that's kind of where you get to give that pitch one-on-one. And so I don't think you want the formality of, hi, I'm Tiffany, and I help entrepreneurs make money, save time, and have fun. And let me tell you, so it needs to be much more conversational. And typically you have a little bit longer, somewhere between 1 to 3 minutes. And there's 3 things I'll usually focus on inside a speed networking conversation. The first is, what are the benefits of your products or service? The second is, so the benefits, the second could be testimonials, so success stories of what you've created for your clients. And the third being, what is your why? What is your story? At Ascentive, we call this, what is your emotionally charged connection? This is what inspires you each and every day that you get up and make things happen. And so I think it's really powerful for you to be getting out there and sharing those 3 components. If you got 3 minutes, you might be able to put them all into it. If you only have a minute or 2, pick 1 or 2 of them. And I think that this is different than what most people are doing because most people are thinking, let me go to this networking event and sell. People will be much more attracted to you if you're not repelling them by selling to them because that's not why they're there. Now, I mentioned we've got to do this follow-up. And sometimes I know it's hard. We have a ton of things going on in our world. And I'm like, when am I ever going to find time to follow up? To me, when you schedule your networking event, you put it in the calendar, put that follow-up time in the calendar as well. Who would have thought of that? If it's virtual, it could be right after the event. If it's in person, it could be within a day or so. And I often get asked, what's the best way to follow up? So much so that I created a video, but here again are the Cliff Notes version. The first best way to follow up is with a handwritten note. Very few people nowadays are sending a handwritten note, and it is a powerful way to stand out from everybody else out there in the world. So send the handwritten note. They do know it's a one-way communication, so you may still need to follow up a different way. What's the best way to follow up? Answer number 2, whichever you will actually do. So if the only way you're ever going to follow up is with email, do email. If the only way you're going to follow up is with a text message, do a text message. If you'll only do it that way, that's the best way for you to follow up. And then lastly, I happen to like the idea of what's the best way to follow up. Use the platinum rule. Now, most people are familiar with the golden rule that says treat other people the way that you want to be treated. But the problem with that is the majority of the population doesn't want to be treated the way that you want to be treated. They want to be treated the way that they want to be treated. And so your goal is to use the platinum rule, treat people the way that they want to be treated. So they have the opportunity to, and you can ask them this at the networking event. Would you prefer that I call you, text you, email you? Get them to share. This is my favorite way of communicating. For me, it's definitely email. For others, it just depends. So you could ask. And then you follow up with them the way that they want to be followed up with. And that will help your relationships, which will probably lead to more orders and more referrals. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you a few thoughts on how to network a networking event. And I will share one of the things I find most people are going to networking events for is because they want more referrals. So if you want more referrals, I do have an online, it's free. It's called More Referrals. Look at that, keep it simple. And it's 5 steps to referral success. Here's, 5 ways. Well, it's not really 5 ways, but it's the steps to make those referrals flow into your business. It's free. So you can just go to bit.ly/TK5steps. And I look forward to seeing you next week for our live, or if you're watching this on the recap, check out some of our other videos there on YouTube. And I look forward to seeing you soon.